Welcome to our interview with the CEO of Medcan, Micael. This video has been a long time coming, so I apologise for the delays as I've had a cheeky brain operation that delayed things somewhat. It's been a while since we released something like this, so I wanted to get this out there and introduce ourselves to those of you who are new. We produced this interview because we wanted to create a series that helps demystify the UK medical cannabis industry by combining our knowledge of working in this space with supply chain hurdles, compliance and legalities, as well as being a patient myself, seeing a lot of the issues from the patient's perspective. So with this interview, I hope that it helps shed light on what's involved in growing and importing medical cannabis to the UK's medical marketplace. So who are we? We're Infinity CBD. First launched in 2019 at the Hemp and CBD Expo in the NEC, we have since gone on to produce a full line of FSA validated products in our own labs here in Pembrokeshire, ranging from day-to-day supplements to more involved wellness and pampering orientated products. We also provide educational talks and one-on-one training for those wanting to work in the CBD and medical cannabis space, hoping to help expand the UK's medical cannabis industry from the roots up. So without further delay, I want to jump into this interview with you. This was shot toward the end of last year as we finally had a slot available that lined up. So we shot down to London for the day to meet Micael and ask him some questions. So I'll lead into the community-led questions that people submitted. I know, like I said, this might not necessarily relate specifically to you guys, so I don't know if you answer it more as your view on these questions rather than something you can relate to, or move past the question if it doesn't quite apply. But these are literally as they were asked. So, so the first one was, I would like to hear about their thoughts on microseeds and novules, what exactly they are, what impacts they have on medication, and how prevalent they are, or their experiences with them. Just for quick context, although I'm sure you know this, there's been a few strains that have been popping up that people have found a large amount of these ovules and seeds in, and I've seen frustrated responses from patients who have asked about it and have heard from one department, yes, these are microseeds, there's nothing to worry about, and then other departments saying that's not what they are, that's, and they're getting conflicting information. So I guess this may not, I don't think this is an issue I've ever seen with you guys at all, so I don't know if it applies, but have you encountered any challenges like this yourself? Is this something that you're aware of?
So the first to one of your points is, as a patient, if you receive medication, I think first port of call is always to talk to the people that you receive the medication from, so that may not necessarily be the cultivator, but the dispensing pharmacy who may relate you to the clinic that you got the medication from, or the importer. But it's important as patients to sort of follow the official channels, let's say, because I think that way you'll get the best answer, because things will get pushed up and the relevant people will be copied in, and then rather than trying to we've seen patients, like, even we are active on social media, I think many people know this, and oftentimes we advise patients, like, we're happy to deal with this, but you need to, when they've got a query, they've got a question, so you need to go through official channels. So that's my first top tip to patients. In terms of the microseeds and seeds, so the rules no longer allow for seeds to be in flour, so that rule changed, I believe, last year sometime, middle of last year. That's the new pharmacopoeia standards for cannabis flour, or for flour, I'm not sure exactly which. In terms of microseeds, listen, seeds are a challenge for any cannabis cultivator. Obviously you don't ever want them to appear, that's not the goal. As a patient and as people that have cultivated cannabis before, they may appreciate this. In order to get the best results from your plant, you stress it towards the end, right? Like, so these plants are going under significant stress towards the end of their, let's call it, life cycle before you harvest them. And like humans, you get stressed, crazy things happen. And so there may occur, I'm talking about from another cultivator's point of view, that you may see this occurrence. It's usually, when there's microseeds, it's usually because of some sort of stress in the environment and the plant. And the challenge as a cultivator is that you can't open up the flowers, each and every flower, and look for these microseeds, right? So it's probably your worst nightmare as a cultivator to get microseeds, because you're not going to spot them, or you probably won't. You'll spot maybe a few, but you're not opening up the flower, because then the patient's going to receive, like, ground flower at the end of the day, right? And our goal is to deliver whole flower. And so it's a challenge. It really is a challenge for a cultivator. The thing that we try to do at Medcan is obviously maintain constant environments, stress the plant as little, give the plant the ability to bring out the best towards the end through stress, but also make sure that the conditions are right and that There's no other things that the plant has to worry about.
Great, yeah.
And that's what we try to do in an indoor facility. It's probably a little bit more difficult in sort of a greenhouse or outdoor or hybrid solution where you're not controlling, let's say, as many elements. But yeah, it's a problem. But not a problem. It is a function of the plant at the end of the day.
Yes.
You buy raspberries, raspberries have seeds. You buy apples, apples have seeds. Cannabis is a plant at the end of the day. It's a flower. It shouldn't happen, but sometimes it does.
Yeah, that's a perfect answer. I think that's might be my stance, and I'll put my hand in the air to say that I understand how, I know that some under stress, they can wrap that, and this is typically how this kind of thing can happen. But I was surprised to see the disdain online in terms of what that meant, or whether it was a risk, or whether, all these other things. And as you say, I was like, it's a natural product. I mean, this is one of the hardest things, even. So from our perspective as a CBD producer, we're in a very easy, simplistic thing where we're doing our tests and we're trying to monitor one thing, and it's an oil that's already extracted, so all the variables have been taken out of it, and we've just got to meet that standard. Whereas a natural product, that's just all out the window. You can do your best, and it sounds like that's where you guys are, is you've optimized being able to produce this the most amazing setup, but it's nature. It'll find a way every now and again, like you're saying, unless you open it all up or everyone wants granulated flour, like there is no other way around it. And if there's a strain that's happened to show an abundant amount of them, that doesn't automatically mean that the whole batch is going to be the same, or even future products. So it's nice to hear that, from that perspective, that it is just what it is. It's a natural product, and everyone's doing their best to avoid it. But there's only so much you can do to spot it, in there without destroying the end product. So.
And the patients should rest assured that every product is tested, like I mentioned before. In order to get into the country, it has to be tested, and it goes through a myriad of different tests, and that's on a batch per batch basis. So yes, it's not nice to receive the flower like that, but they can still rest assured that what it says they've received is what they've received. So
exactly.
If that's any consolation.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, like you say, the official channel route is great, and it's definitely the way to go.
Definitely.
Yeah.